Hello and welcome back to yet another edition of Lifestyles of Love with your girls, Chris and Vic. I'm Chris,
I'm Vic.
and tonight we're getting into the conversations of cohabitating, aka living in sin, as my grandma would say.
All the grandmas would say.
All the grandmas would say it. So we are, broadcasting live at this moment. Maybe you're hearing this live, maybe you're hearing it after the fact. Either way, we love you and we thank you. I'm over here on the east side of the LV, and Vic's down there in the boot, feeling
Yeah.
good.
Good old Hammond, Louisiana.
Hammond, Louisiana. So, if you're around the Louisiana parts, you can look her up, and I don't know, maybe she can check your urine for you. If you need that sort of thing done.
No, please, no.
So,
I'm cool.
other than that, you can always listen later. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and we stream pretty much everywhere. We're on Spotify, the Apple, the Amazon, the Pandora. Lots of people on Pandora. This is always. I'm so surprised every time I see the numbers on Pandora are so high. I'm like, who's on Pandora still? Are you on Pandora?
Try no. My mama is though.
Okay, maybe it's like
Yes.
the older folks
Yeah,
out
I don't
here.
know. No. Yeah, I
Because
have
yeah, my
been.
mom's on Pandora too. Right.
Pandora used to be the thing though back in the day, but
For
yeah. Anyway,
real.
yeah, it was. Oof.
So wherever you get your podcast, that's where we be. So we thank you. And
We like Visa.
there's a lot. There's a lot. If you've never listened to our show, if you are a newbie, Chris and Vic, we hail
Welcome.
from Las Vegas, and we've known each other a very long time, and our relationship is probably more interesting than most. And we talk about all the things. So if you are new, you should go back and listen to some because they range. So
Yes. And you're always welcome to come
today,
on and talk about something. You know what I mean? Get your
yes,
opinions out there.
please. If you have my number, if you have Vic's number, and we know you, you can always call us, text us, DM us. And if you don't know us, I would say comment
Come
on the
holla.
YouTube or the Facebook. Leave us a comment and we'll get back to you. Maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. But regardless, we're glad you're here. So, anything crazy going on in the world?
Just every day living is nuts right now. That's about
Yeah.
it, honestly. I don't know. I just feel like you just wake up and I don't know, all everybody talks about still is motherfucking COVID. And everybody's got fucking COVID and then had COVID. And yeah, I just, what do you just do anymore? Honestly, that's what I feel.
So
We're going into like year 3 of this shit. And yeah,
mm,
what the fuck? I know they shut down the schools there.
yeah, just for a 5-day little moment. The schools in Clark County are going to be closed, which I actually, I feel like that's probably smart because at the very least, these people will get their.
My bad.
Yeah, at the very least, they'll get a five. They're only doing it for 5 days, so at the very least, everybody will get their 5 days of rest or whatever. The problem is it's these kids that got it. And what these kids doing?
Absolutely.
They don't have any symptoms, so they're running around like they would be.
I mean, the thing is too, like some of the jobs don't care if you have it, if you don't have symptoms, they still want you to come. I don't know. I've never even heard of anything like this. I mean, we've only been alive for 35, 36 years, right? But, you
Right.
know, My thing is like, where is everybody, and where are y'all getting money from if you're not fucking working? What is happening? What the fuck is happening? And my thing is too, I was
You
like,
know what?
nobody
I
should be.
realized that there's a lot of fraud going on.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. But that shit runs out. Like,
I
how
know.
much money are you really getting? I feel like, I mean, I don't know, but nobody should be panhandling right now because literally everybody's hiring, like everybody,
Mm.
you know. But anyway,
Well, panhandling is not for those who'd like to join the
well,
workforce.
I understand
Panhandling
that,
is
but
a
that's
job
why.
itself.
And while I get that, right, this is not the
Mm.
time. Like, I can't support that, because not that saying I would support it any
Right.
other time, but I really don't do it right now. Like, you got me fucked up, motherfucker. I be tired of shit working, and you think I'm just gonna nah, bro.
I work hard for my money.
Bitch,
I
I
work
drive
hard for
two
my
hours
money.
a day for work. No,
Right.
fuck you. No.
Right. Right. I'm right there with you. It's fine.
Sorry, not sorry.
Um,
Anyway,
it's all
everybody
good.
dying already. It's like January
Oh
14th, and
yeah.
we done lost so many
Bob
damn people. Like,
Saget. Oh my god. Bob Saget, bro. That he was only 65. And the worst
mm-hmm.
part about it is that he died alone in a hotel room, and he had
Yeah,
just done a show. So the first of all, the people
yep,
who saw that show forever are like, I don't even know what the word is for how they're ever gonna feel. I mean, obviously you're grateful it was you and you were there, um, and then you're also super sad that you were the last audience that he ever performed in front of. Like, my,
right.
mm.
But I guess he died in his sleep, they're saying. So,
Is that what
I
they're
mean,
saying?
we could all just wish. I mean, not maybe some. I
Right.
don't think everybody wishes to go that way, but I certainly do.
Surely
And I don't.
do.
Yeah, I don't want to know I'm dying. I would like to not know that.
You know what I think would be a good time to die is during sex. I mean, obviously not for the other
And
person,
why? And why?
but because you're leaving under pleasurable circumstances.
Okay, so would this be after the orgasm? Before? Does it matter?
Maybe during. Maybe that's the climax is the climax.
Climax, your last climax. I don't know.
Your last
I
climax.
would not like to die that way either. I mean, I know
I'm just saying it would be a good way to go. You know what I
perfect
mean?
world, in a perfect world, if we could like, oh, I would like to go that way. No, I don't want to go that way.
Remember that episode? Well, speaking of people who died, R.I.P. Betty White. Her birthday is Monday.
Oh
MLK's
yeah.
birthday
They
was
said she
actually on
had a
Wednesday. Had the same
strike or
birthday.
a stroke. Oh my god.
Well, they said she had a
Like,
stroke.
like a couple
That makes
days.
total sense.
They're saying it happened like a couple days before she passed, though. I'm like trying to get my life together over here. Sorry. I don't know.
Betty. I just
I
saw a
know.
terrible. Somebody sent me. It wasn't a meme. It was just like like a little sketch, and yeah, it was a TikTok, and it was this angel in heaven, and he was
Mm-hmm.
like, he was talking to the other angels, and he was like the head angel, and he was like, "Did you get the old lady?" And they came
Oh.
back. The guy was like, "Oh yeah, I got her. Betty White. She's here." And the guy was like, "I didn't say Betty White." And he was like, "I said the Queen." And he was like, "Oh, you meant the British Queen." And then it ended. And I was like, it's very soon, but that also makes more sense. I'm like, shouldn't the Queen have gone before Betty? But it's cool. It's cool.
I mean,
It's
there's a lot
cool.
of people roaming the world or roaming the earth still that should have been
Mick
taken out
Jagger.
maybe, but that's a different show. That's a
Different
different
show,
show.
different show. You're right. So, yeah, there's a lot going on, guys. But amongst the things going on is the cohabitating, the living in sin, the
Guilty.
not praying before you eat. That's what's
Praying
going
before
on
you
here.
silly. Not praying before
Okay,
you eat.
and so we both done this. It's
I'm
been a
currently
thing.
cohabitating.
She's currently doing it.
Yeah.
I've done it twice,
Mm-hmm.
and
I've done it once before.
both situations were different.
Yeah.
One's in LA, one's in New York, and the way both of them ended, epic.
Really?
To me.
Well, I know about one of them, but or I remember one of them at least. But see, the thing about you living in those two places, those are two expensive ass places to live too.
Exactly.
So
So
I
there
feel
was
like,
a whole reason. There was
yeah,
reasons
because that's one of the benefits,
besides the
of
love.
cohabitating is splitting bills. Because LA and New York ain't no bitch. That rent, whew, hell no.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. So the definition that I have for cohabitating, well, we all know that there's. Why is it doing that? We all know that there's many definitions. First of
Yes.
all, there was a discrepancy between cohabitating and co
Existing? Or-
no, it's like a cohabitating and cohabitation. No, sorry, I'm gonna find it because people say like cohabiting. That's what it is. Cohabiting versus cohabitating.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say right now it's the same thing. Okay, so if we say one or the other, we mean that's what we mean. They are interchangeable. I don't know why there's two words for it like
Well,
that.
yeah, because my cohabitator and I were having the discussion about this,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I have to say it was like one of the things, the things that you love about somebody or the things you hate about them also. And so he was like really like breaking down this word. And I'm like, listen here, Webster. Like, because he was like, well, what is
Webster.
it? What is it when I had roommates in college, And I'm like,
Right.
nigga, roommates. Shit.
Yeah,
That's what
it
that's
was. I
called.
mean, it's that. I think that's when it's cohabiting, habitat. I don't know. I don't. I feel like. Okay, here we go. Here's the definition. It says two same-sex or opposite-sex adults who are not married to each other, not in a civil partnership or common law, and living together in an intimate and committed relationship. So the difference between a roommate and a cohabitator is that y'all are intimate with each other.
Right. So, because there was one when I was doing research on this, I felt
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of this really comes from a religious standpoint. So those definitions, like off top, just say a sexual relationship, right? And I'm like, it doesn't even
Mm-hmm.
always have to be that. I mean,
Right.
I would say like for us, like we're waiting till marriage because there is, they say like, so they say like 60% of relationships.
Attention school-age children, it is time for Friday movie afternoon. Today's movie is Labyrinth. We'll be showing it at the Imaginarium and have snacks provided by Three
Okay.
Y'all niggas don't have popcorn.
They probably will actually
Anyway,
for
so
these
they were
dimensions.
saying like 60% of relationships where you cohabitated before marriage will end in divorce, which is a whole fucking lot. And I don't know if that
Yes.
has and I don't know if that really has anything to do with cohabitating because I know they said, "Oh, why buy the milk or why buy the cow and you can get the milk for free?" There's all of those things, that aspect. But I
Mm-hmm.
think for us, that's we decided to wait, till marriage because it is definitely looked at as like living in sin, like, oh, you're just like, I don't know if people just thought we were just bumping and grinding and stuff like that, like, oh, over here or what. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, so it's not
You
always,
mean like
so I didn't
since you
like,
moved in, you guys have not?
we're waiting until marriage. So I
So you
don't
haven't done it
like,
at all?
no, so I don't like that definition goes like straight to sex, that I don't like.
Well,
But I think
well,
that's
if
just
it didn't,
conversation
then
in
it would
general.
just be. Then you guys would just be roommates. If it didn't go straight to
Well,
sex.
no, no, I don't think so.
No, by definition, that's what it would be.
Oh, I mean, we still have an
Obviously, you
intimate
guys call it
relationship.
whatever you want,
Yeah,
but
I think it's still. I mean, we
your
still have an intimate relationship because we're in a relationship. So
yeah, it's the intimacy and the commitment to one another.
right,
Now,
and a
you can commit
household.
to a lease. You can commit to a lease. You can commit to the curtains. You can commit to a couch, but you can't. You don't necessarily commit to everybody you live with. So that's the
Right.
difference.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
I would say.
I've never had roommates, so I don't know
okay.
that.
I've had way too many, and I was never intimate with any of them. Yeah, I'll just say that. So then there's also Urban Dictionary, which
Oh hell.
listen, Urban Dictionary is profoundly accurate. They said
you can do your own definitions on Urban Dictionary.
right. That's why I said they're accurate. God. Okay, I'm gonna read one that means what you're talking about, but also when two people, generally a man and a woman, but in this day and age it could be any variation of the genders, are living together in a mad frenzy of sex. If, say, you're cohabitating with someone and you're not having sex more often than hormone rage makes, you're not cohabitating. So that's what you're saying you don't like.
Yeah.
So that's Urban Dictionary's first definition. The next one,
Urban Dictionary.
there's we both done this too. There's post-mortem cohabitation, which is a term for a situation where you're living with your ex after a breakup because of X, Y, and Z, finances, the pandemic. Y'all are fucked at this moment and can't nobody go nowhere. You can't break this lease. Whatever.
Yes.
Whatever it may be.
Yes.
Terrible times. Terrible times. Terrible
Awful.
times.
It sucks when when you are splitting bills with somebody or rent and they move out and you gotta cover their part of the rent. That shit sucks.
Sorry. Exactly. That does suck.
But it's part of the game.
I can't get these people's attention.
That's part of the game. That's part of the risk you take. So in reading this, I saw that there was like cohabitation agreements, which
yes.
Yeah.
That is a thing, and I don't know if I would agree with that. Not that I don't agree with it. I agree with it if you feel like you need it. Would I do it? I don't know. I definitely have roommate agreements, and I keep those forever.
Now that I would do.
Always reference them.
Right. Absolutely. But we gotta get some like roommate stories from hell.
Roommate from hell. God. I have like one. I've only had one bad roommate, and it wasn't even bad. It was just over the top annoying. Okay, this is the term for what you're doing. Okay, it's called cohabitation without fornication, a term used to describe moving in with your lover with the expressed agreement that no sexual activities will ensue before marriage, similar to taxation without representation, but with a sexual aspect.
Okay.
So that's what you're doing. You're cohabitation without fornication, or cohabiting without fornicating, which I'm sure most parents are glad to hear, because I'm sure they figure that when two young people move in together, they're just fornicating. So you're the exception, and that's amazing.
Love to be the exception.
Yes, always.
Definitely not the fucking rule.
And so what you were saying is that most people now are, if they do move in together, they're less likely to get married if they just.
I think they're more likely to break up.
They're more likely to break up.
Or to get divorced. I'm sorry. They're more likely to get divorced.
Oh.
Yeah.
If they live together longer before
marriage. Yeah.
Yes. That makes sense, actually.
And then I think it may lead to some people actually not getting married. I just don't have the data on that one, because they feel like they're getting the whole cow, so why they have to get the milk, or whatever that saying is, why buy the milk? Whatever the fuck it is.
It says that most young women today will live with a romantic partner at least once, compared to like when we were born in the 80s. It was only like a third of the number that it is today of women that would like live.
My parents lived together before they got married.
My parents did not. Yeah, but they only knew each other for 3 months, so.
Okay, and look at them, 30-some years later, huh? Shit. Okay.
Yeah, they only knew each other for 3 months, and then they got pregnant, and then
that's the exception. That is the exception. Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't do that.
No, I I wish for a similar love story, but it ain't happening.
I feel like that is exactly what's going to happen to you.
I truly hope. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I did see Sam the Medium. You know, she told me that love is coming. But,
Okay. True love?
That's
Forever love?
I don't know. I mean, she didn't say those words, so could just be another lover for the ages.
Your +1 is coming, girl. He's coming.
Right. Plus one.
Come on.
Right. So back in the 80s, most cohabitating relationships were short-lived and they frequently led to marriage. And now it's kind of the opposite. Like these days, more unmarried couples are living together and doing so for longer, like you were saying, but fewer are leading to marriage. Like most of the people who live together first are not getting married. But like you say, when they do, they work less often because they've already. I wonder why that is. I mean, it's probably because there's already a foundation of how things have been, and by the time you get to marriage, ain't shit changed, and you're like, this is the same shit it was.
Right, because people, for one, then I think people get comfortable, and then I think that people, excuse me, they feel like marriage is nothing but a piece of paper at that point because it's like we're already committed to each other. But
We've
there's a
already
big
been doing
difference.
this, yeah.
Right, but there's a big difference. I mean, there's definitely like a business aspect to marriage for sure. And we were recently having this conversation, you know, because for me, it's of course the conversations about, you know, power of attorneys and what I want when I die or something happened to me, stuff like that. Like that stuff, you know, there's all uncomfortable conversations, but you know, I think as we all fucking know now, it's like here today, gone today. Like these are things we really got to talk about and set in stone. And I was saying, like, you know, I don't want to, I don't want any art when it's my time. I think I've made it very well known what I want when I die. You know, so nobody should be arguing about shit. Respect my wishes, and that's all you know, nobody have to argue about nothing. So I want to return that favor, you know what I'm saying, to my partner for sure. You know, I want what you want, not what anybody else wants for you. What do you want for yourself, you know?
For yourself.
So granted, when you're married, I mean, you're the legal next of kin and things like that, right? But when you're in these situations like cohabitating, especially for a really long time, you know, we know funerals and weddings bring out the worst in people. So even though you could have kids together and all these things, like if there's not that piece of paper, you may run into some shit. That's the big downfall about cohabitating with no intention to get married. From, you know, but
right, and that's why those cohabitation agreements happen. It's the same as common law. You know, like certain people are used to. I don't know if this is still a thing anymore, but it used to be when we were younger. If
like
you lived with
7
somebody
years.
7 years or more, you were considered common law, so they were entitled to information. If you were in the hospital, they were entitled to things as a spouse would be. I don't know if that's the whole thing. I should look that up, but I feel like, I don't know. A lot of this stems from, like you said, financial, you know, I don't know the word. It's just subversion, okay? Like, I'm underwater. I live in New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Miami. This is an expensive, New Orleans. This is an expensive
Vegas now,
lifestyle.
shit. Yeah.
To live single. So when you do find somebody, I'm trying to think of how could me and Ben moved in together. I met him, and then 8 months later, he said he was in love with me, and then like 5 months later, we started going out, and then it was probably 6 months later after we started going out that I moved in there. And it was really only because I was always over there because he lived closer to my job than I did. So I was constantly running home, you know, to get clothes or whatever. And he'd be like, just stay, you know, whatever. It would always just end up being more convenient to be at his place.
Because why are you paying rent for a place that you're not even fucking at? That's stupid.
And that's what it comes down to when you end up being that person. You're like, I pay a lot of money to live somewhere, for all my stuff to be somewhere else, really.
Right.
But I think that's also a New York City thing. People are very quick in New York. But I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, because when it came down to it, I should have kept my place. Even though we were together for like 4 years and we lived together basically about 2.5 to 3, I wish I had kept my place, because there was a point in our relationship where I wanted to move out. I didn't want to break up, but I wanted to move out because I wanted my own space again, because it wasn't just he and I living together. He had 3 roommates before I even moved
that's
in
right.
there.
Yeah.
So
That was a nice
I just
little
wanted to
pad,
go back to
though.
a place. Yeah. I just wanted to go back to a place where I had a door that I could shut and lock and could nobody come in except me. And he was not okay with that. And he was like, if you move out, I'm breaking up with you. And I was like, well, okay then. And he thought that it was a step backwards in the relationship. And
could see
he
that,
kept
though.
bringing up other people. Well, I could see that to a certain extent, but I was like, but you know that it's not a back step in the relationship, because I'm telling you, and we're fine. I just would like my own space again. And he was like, what are people going to say? What are people going to say? And that's the wrong thing to say to me, because I don't give a fuck what people think. And quite frankly, when you say something like that to me, it makes me want to just do it even more. When you say, well, what are people going to think? That's making me...
because now you're totally disregarding how I feel, and now you're just worried about the look of it. Yeah.
The look of it. And what people are going to say to you, or if you're going to look a certain way, like, oh, your girlfriend doesn't want to live with you, ha ha ha. Like, I don't know. He just had a mind thing about it. So,
I mean, do people in New York really want to have roommates? Like, you've known plenty of people out there, and like, damn near everybody has a fucking roommate because it's so expensive. Have you ever heard anyone say like, yes, I love having a roommate? Like,
no.
I love going into the fridge and seeing somebody eat all my fucking, whatever.
Exactly, right. And that's the part, I mean, maybe we should have another show, about the roommates from hell, because that kind of stuff, I've definitely had to kick people out of my apartment, because they, whatever agreement they signed, they weren't living up to it. So I don't know. I know it's different with cohabiting agreements. I was because there was a little tab for that, but I felt like that was kind of a turn off of the subject matter. But agreements are necessary because people change their minds. And in New York City, once you move in somewhere, if you don't have an agreement, you can just stay, and you don't even have to pay rent if they want you to leave because of the squatters' rights. So that's why once I found that out, I was like, whenever we have roommates, they're signing this that says we tell you when to leave, because squatters' rights are absolutely real in New York City, and there's nothing.
Wait, whose rights?
Squatters.
Oh, squatters' rights. Okay.
That was what happened with the one person we were talking about on the last show about friendship breakups. This one person that was stealing from me, whatever, I'll just say his name. His name was Lamont. And this one other person, there were some other people he fucked over. My friend Chance and his roommate Annabella. They befriended him at a moment in time, and he moved into their apartment, and then he never left. And he literally took the door off of the hinges, and refused to pay rent. And
there was nothing they could do.
They ended up having to leave. They ended up leaving. They ended up having to leave. So he ended up having a free apartment basically for about a year. And this was after stealing from multiple people.
Okay.
Coast to coast.
So they didn't know that he was a thief?
No, they didn't know. And they hadn't talked to me yet. Or they hadn't met me yet. Sorry, they hadn't met me yet. So when they met me, they told me about this person named Juan. And I was like, are you fucking... What? I was like, and Ben and I were like, oh my God. And yeah. And I was like, you're never getting that apartment back, by the way. And
I mean, why would you want to live like in an uncomfortable situation? I guess survival of the fittest, I guess.
Yeah. But some people, exactly, survival of the fittest.
Yeah, he was living for free. I guess I don't blame him.
So the same thing could apply had he been my boyfriend or had been one of their boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever, like they break up and you're like, leave. And it's like, I don't have to leave.
See, those get into tough situations though too, because I feel like you know, there's that one aspect where you're like, I don't want to be somewhere where somebody don't want me, especially in a home.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Fucking home, I'm fucking out of here. But then depending on, you know what I'm saying, like to survive, like you may not be able to afford going somewhere else, you know? That's why
And that's
that
what
shit
it
gets really
is.
fucking tricky. And then also just depending on just the what's here and how much who put this
Hmm.
down and all that type of shit. You can get into money. I really do not like money dealings with people. I'm not a fan.
Right. I don't either.
I I feel like that shit gets it would make some of the best relationships just turn so ugly, you know.
True.
No. So anyways.
Well, I did do. I don't know if you did this, but well, you might have because you were married. But we opened a joint account together too.
Mm-mm.
That I do not recommend that unless it's just an account to pay bills, which is what it was. It was just an account to pay bills, but I couldn't close the account without him.
Mm.
So I think after I left,
But could
there
you
was still
remove
money being
yourself?
funneled through it.
You couldn't remove
Mm,
yourself from the
I
account?
couldn't remove myself, no, because it was the same thing. It was like I can turn off the notifications or turn off, whatever ideas of like, you know, what
But
do you
why
call it?
not? If somebody
Like,
wants to remove themselves from a fucking account because say he wanted to fuck you over and he starts overdrafting like a son of a bitch.
because it could be the opposite. You could be the thief that's trying to get off the account and get out of paying bills or get out of things. It's legal. So it's like if you open the account together, you have to
Oh,
close
that
it
makes
together
sense. Okay,
because
that
people
makes
can
sense.
lie, people can steal your money and then close the account, you know? So
Okay,
there's
that
reasonings
makes
for it,
sense.
but at the time, when it is really like an upstanding situation, you're like, really,
Yeah,
I just want out. I just don't want to be affiliated with this person anymore, and I don't want them to be able to contact me
yeah,
or fuck up my credit or
yeah. And I would definitely say never live somewhere that you can't afford to pay for on your own.
right. And there you go. It's
Yeah,
that's a
because
hard one, but yeah.
I mean, it is. You know, you would think, oh, two incomes, you know, we can do this and that, da da da. Well, shit happens, and you know, somebody
Hmm.
might lose their job, somebody might move the fuck out. Like you don't know what the hell. And you got to be
Exactly.
prepared for that. Unfortunately, that sucks. I mean, people can do that. The thing that I didn't like when I was reading about stuff is, and maybe I need to change my mind frame on this since you know I'm getting married. Is like people can leave marriages too and fuck you over in that. You know, one thing I think I
Hmm.
would absolutely not do is buy a home with somebody that I was not married to.
Mm.
Like buying property with someone, and we're just, you know, cohabitating. Yeah, yeah, I don't know about that.
I
That's a whole
agree.
other set
I
of
agree.
bills and
Whole other
responsibilities.
set of
You know,
bills.
I know people who've done it. There's always those exceptions, you know, but shit, getting out of a lease is different than a fucking mortgage.
Yeah, and you're talking about titles and deeds and
All kinds of
equity, and
shit.
it's like how long have
Oh
you lived
yeah.
here and how much
Mhm.
refinancing has happened, how much do you, yeah, like,
Your
oh god,
insurances and all the things, it's so much more expensive. I mean, yes,
interest.
yes, mm-mm, and really fucking
No,
yourself
you're right.
over. Yeah, but I
You
mean,
are
the
right.
people can do that shit in a marriage too. That's the thing, you know, it's fucked up.
True, but if you're
That's
married,
likely.
there's some legal
Yeah,
ramifications that you can take, or not ramifications, but you
yeah,
can take some legal channels and like make some shit
yeah, and that's one of
something
the
else.
benefits. That's
Yeah,
just one.
that is
That's
one
one
of
of
the
the benefits.
benefits.
Yeah.
It
So it's
does
not
say
just a
that
piece of
married couples
paper.
have higher, yeah, married couples have higher levels of trust and satisfaction than cohabitators.
Like, yeah.
I
I
don't
mean, I
know.
don't
I
regret
don't
it.
know.
I don't regret, you know what I'm saying, like living with him right now because it's definitely something I feel like this. I mean, maybe it doesn't work like this for all people, obviously. I know a lot of
Hmm.
people who have, you know, lived together before they got married and stuff. Um, I like to, I mean, I know what I'm getting into
Hmm.
by living with him. And I think people think, you know, even with like roommates and stuff, right? You would think that, oh, like some things are just little, right? But
Hmm.
these things like add up. And sometimes, you know, you just can't tolerate somebody. I mean, you can't live with everybody, so you can't travel with everybody. And so I think
Hmm.
that you definitely get a vision of what your life is going to be like should you, marry this person. So, I mean, I'm not saying like I'm for it, obviously, because I'm doing it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just my take on
Um,
it. Their
so I was
cleaning
talking
habits, living
to,
habits.
yeah, I was talking to our friends over there on Everything Arrogance. Shout out
Hey,
to
boys.
Evan and Steves. Um, we kind of all agreed that, well, Steve's, sorry, I'm gonna put your business out there a little bit, but he's uncohabitating right now. And so he doesn't want to do the living together before marriage anymore. I was saying, I feel like I would live with you now if we are engaged.
Mm-hmm.
If we like going back and forth, I would rather just go back and forth for years until we've decided we want to at least get married. And during the engagement period, let's live together and
Yeah.
make sure this is what we want. So I feel like I don't want to say I'll never live with another guy again because I don't know that I want to get married. But I feel like once I get my place, I'm gonna always keep my place no matter what.
Yeah. Especially if you own it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially if you own it. Like if you're renting it, obviously is another. It's easier to just
Yeah,
be like,
because
okay, I'm
I
done.
always wondered. Yeah, I always wondered what happens to couples when they meet and like both of them own property. Is somebody going to
Yeah.
sell theirs? You're going to keep it and rent it out? Who does and how do you decide that? And
Mhm. Mhm.
things like that. But I will say there's other reasons for cohabitating because a lot of times people don't get married if they've been married before and say they're a widow. They can stop if
Mhm.
they get remarried. They can stop getting those benefits that they're receiving for their deceased spouse. So,
Mm.
and that's
Okay.
that's always tricky too because I know someone who's in that situation, and
Mhm.
like been in a super committed relationship for forever. I mean, shit, um, like what 30 years
Mhm.
or something. So I don't know what you do with that. Like, is that insulting to the other person? Like, you're not willing to give up that for us? I don't know. And then
Mm.
what happens if y'all split? You know what I mean?
I just feel like property should always stay with the original property owner. Even if you decide to like combine your assets, your
Mm-hmm.
name doesn't necessarily have to be on my house, and my name doesn't necessarily have to be on yours. Maybe, sure, like maybe put my name on the title, maybe, or put my name on the mailbox, but I don't know.
But I think that's when paperwork starts. I mean, becomes like really important.
That's when
When
prenups
some
become important.
Well, it's like,
That's
okay,
when
so something
prenups become
happens,
important.
you're living in their home. I mean, you can always go back to your home, but then it's like, but this
Mm-hmm.
has now become your home too. So something happens to, my partner, what are we going to do
Mm-hmm.
with this house that we've been living in?
I feel like as long as the person, if they own it, if they don't have children, it'll go to their parents. If they have children, it'll go to their children.
Right, but
More than likely.
I've been living in this house with you, and now I have
I
tenants, and I
know.
can't just kick them out.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Like if two couples
Yes, you
own, or
can
if a
just kick them
couple,
out. Yes, you can just kick them out. Absolutely. That's a part of
I,
your title. I mean, that's part of your agreement the lease agreement that you
you
set
have to give them
up
at least
is
30
that you
days, no?
say, hmm depends on the person. You don't have to.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, some people look. Obviously, that's the thing to do, and I think most states it is legally you have to do that, but not all states. So what I'm saying is, if you sign an agreement that says when I call and say that you have to leave, you have 72 hours, then that's what it's
That
going
I
to have
would
to be.
never. I can't say never. If I was like in a real, I'm
You
in a
can't
bind,
exactly.
then
If the whole like think about if the whole place is furnished and you don't have to do anything but move in with your stuff. If I can tell you you got 72 hours, you can get your shit and get out in 72 hours. Now, all right, what are you gonna do? That's messed up.
right.
It's totally messed up. I'm just saying
Yeah,
that
yeah,
legally you would have
it's
if you
allowed.
signed it, you would have to figure it out.
It may not be moral, but it's legal.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's moral. Not saying it's right. Okay. But yeah,
It's
most people,
not
yeah,
right,
you would
but
give them
it's
30 days and you would stay with somebody until
Hmm.
you can
So
kick
what
them
did
out
you
the
feel
door.
like were the pros of living with somebody aside from finances?
Not necessarily having to get dressed up for date nights and not necessarily having to get dressed for anything. That's always nice. Being able to just lay around naked and just feeling comfortable enough to be yourself. I feel like it takes moving in together sometimes to really let your guard down.
Mm.
So, you know, the vulnerability, I'm not saying it's nice, but I'm saying it's a good thing. um, what other pros?
I
He'll pay for
definitely feel
dinner more than
like,
likely. He's gonna pay for things. He's gonna pay for things more than likely, like more than
I said
you would.
no finances. Finances
Oh, okay, all
on
right,
me.
all right.
I definitely think we've gotten like so much closer, by living together. And we
Yes,
only lived together for
bonding.
like 5 months, 3 months, 3 or 5 months, something like that, before we got
Mm-hmm.
engaged. But I kind of suck as a housewife, so I think we both
How do
discovered
you
that.
know?
I think we both,
What do you mean?
because I'd be tired. That's why meal prep is really a thing. I get home, I'm like, I don't want to do a fucking thing. I go to the gym, but getting ready to make this grand meal and all that shit, I'm too tired.
Oh yeah, the domesticated part when you are working. Yeah. And I think oh, we're still talking about pros. Okay. Pros.
We split that, so now you don't have to do all of the household duties by yourself. So that is a pro.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's good. It doesn't all fall on you. These we're not gonna talk about finances. I mean, I think the bonding is probably the biggest thing. Just, you know, knowing
Yeah.
somebody's always going to be there, knowing you don't
Mhm.
have to come home to an empty place, you know, and
Yeah.
um, when you're down, when you're sad, you know, like there's somebody to be there for you and like tell you it's gonna be okay.
Right.
Um,
But then on the other end of that, that's a double-edged sword.
yeah, true, true,
Yeah, that's a double-edged sword. See, I'm a
true.
scaredy
Sometimes I
cat.
want to be my mama's second self.
Right. I'm a scaredy cat. So at my big old age, I'm afraid of the dark. So I will sleep with lights on, TVs on, and stuff like that. But like when he's, by him being here, I don't have to do that anymore because I know he's gonna protect me. So that's good.
That is good. It's good
But
that
I
you even feel
literally,
safe and protected.
yeah, but I literally, like when I had my own place, I definitely slept with the fucking lights on every night.
hmm There's a
Like
lot of people that do
every
that.
Oh,
There's a lot of
really?
people that
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. And I ain't talking about no fucking nightlight either.
Yeah. I have blackout curtains I want and can only sleep in pitch black. But that's just me.
Mm.
Um, I, well, if we're talking about cons, um, I feel like sometimes the romance leaves. You know, it's harder to care about things like that, like
Mm.
being cute and making things nice
Yeah.
for your person,
Yeah.
cleaning up before they come home, or you know, like
Mhm.
those kind of things kind of fly out the window. I do not and will never again in my life share a bathroom with a man ever. I won't share a bathroom with anybody ever again, but especially with a man.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that. I said I think when we buy a house, I want my own bathroom. Or at least my own side of the
Or a
bathroom.
closet as well. We're not sharing closets either.
Oh, yeah, we don't
I
share
don't care. I
closets
don't care
now.
if there's a male side and a woman's side. This is mine, and you can find
Yeah.
another closet.
I don't think I know any couple that shares a closet actually. My mom and dad don't share a closet.
Then they
Hell
should.
no. No. Matter of fact, the house that they bought or that's being built, we saw a model and my mom's gonna take one of the rooms and like make a closet out of it. Like it's gonna be a whole thing.
There,
I'm gonna help her out.
exactly.
I'm excited
Fair.
for that. Yeah, no, I mean she's got so much shit anyway. Her and my dad, gosh. But that's what he says about me. He's like, you have so many clothes. I'm like, get out of my closet. You have no business in here.
And
This
that's
is
what I'm
mine.
saying. You wouldn't have no business being in here. This is not for you. There's nothing in here that is yours, so you have no business being in this closet or this
Yeah,
bathroom.
that is probably the biggest con I would have to say is the space issue. Definitely space. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
know, when you need space. I mean, for us, like, we have 2 bedrooms, so he gave up his office. He had a home office. He gave it up to me, so it's like my little like she cave or whatever. So that's nice.
That was
But just
nice.
when you need, when you need space, or just when you want to be by yourself, that's which is very important. And I think that's hard to do when you live with someone sometimes because people take things so personally. But it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I talk to people all day long. You talk to people all day long. Like I get it. It's just like he said last night when he came home, I was asleep on the couch watching TV, and we have 3 TVs in this bitch, but that's our favorite TV. So he was like, "Yeah, when I came home last night, I wanted to be in the living room. I wanted to watch that TV, but I took it over because I fell asleep. So, yeah, those little things, and I know those seem. I mean, they are little things, but they really add up because you got to think about this is your sanctuary. You know what I mean? And this is your home. This is your peace. This is your castle. So those things really add up and can affect you because this is out of everything that you do, what I'm saying, throughout your day, like this is yours. Nobody can come in here and claim it. It's your shit. So it's very important.
Yes. Another huge con for me that I had to, it was hard. It was hard to suck it up. Was when they would have their friends over, and you're just not in the
Mm.
fucking mood for that shit, and these
Yeah,
motherfuckers won't leave.
because he hosted a lot, like once a week
A
at least, right?
lot,
Yeah.
and at least once a
Mm-hmm.
week, and there'd be poker games or Madden games or come watch the NBA game or whatever fucking game, and it wasn't always like, hey, is it cool if they come over? It was more like, no, I'll be up. No, he would ask me, but sometimes I would just come home and people would just be there. And once one person was there, they text somebody and they call, and then it's like, and obviously at first it was cool, it was fun to have people
It's
over all the
always,
time. I
yeah.
didn't mind having being that household, but
Mm-hmm.
after a while, I became I wasn't even hostile towards these people, but I shut myself off. I would leave
Mm-hmm.
or I would go to the bottom level or another room or something because sometimes it would just be so juvenile and I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I just wanna watch The Young and the Restless. Or I just wanna I just wanna
Have it
sprawl
quiet.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
I
wanna
want to be
sprawl out and
naked.
not talk to anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a big one. Big con for me.
Yeah, when you're looking forward to coming home and just like chilling the fuck out, that's not something I would want to open my door to. Yeah, I mean, so if you went into your room, you could still like hear them, or they would still come in. Would they come in your room, or
They wouldn't come in there, but I could
okay,
still hear it for the most part.
okay,
Alongside that would also be just like parties, like Ben was a big partier. I like to party, but he's the type that can party any day for hours. And
mhm.
the best part about him when he was like that was that when he was done, he was done. So he was never afraid to kick people out. That was what we had in common. We were
Oh, that's
both never
nice.
afraid to be like, we're done for
You
the
ain't got to
night,
go
we're good.
home. Yeah, you
Yeah,
ain't got to go home, but
you
you
ain't
got to
gotta
get
go
the
home.
fuck up out of here. Yeah, okay.
So that was, a thing. Probably also for a con is like, we didn't necessarily have this problem with either of the situations that I was in, but I know that this is an issue for people. It's just like coordinating schedules. Um,
Mhm.
it almost sometimes seems like it's easier to see people when you don't live together than when you do because you kind of take them for granted. Um,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I can definitely see how it could like pull some of the romance out. Absolutely. But you know what too? It's so
Mm-hmm.
nice, like for us, it's like I also live with my friend. That's what's
Yeah.
nice. So it's like we can just like fucking chill out in the living room watching TV like all day and shit, be like talking shit, like just having so much fun doing absolutely nothing. And that's just so
Yes.
nice because you don't always have to go out and spend all this money and get dolled up. And that's always nice, definitely. I don't like to do that all the time, but it's always nice to, put your little freakum dress on and stuff and get cute. But
Mm-hmm.
that is nice. But see, I'm not a person who's afraid to be by myself. So it is nice to have somebody whose
Mm-hmm.
company I do enjoy, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
Now the issue, well, that's why we have 3 TVs. So it's like if you want to watch something and I don't, then have at it. I'm gonna go somewhere else and
Mm-hmm.
go about my fucking day. Um, I was gonna say something
Yeah.
else. I forgot.
Yeah. I think the worst part I also hated was like cleaning up after somebody.
Mm, yeah.
Just because not always, but generally more often, guys tend to be a little less concerned with mess than women. I'm just the type of person, I don't like to come home and the place is dirty. I
Mm-hmm.
like my friend Eve, who I love to death. But when we first met, I could not stand this girl because she would walk in the door and throw everything off. She would take everything off at the door. Shoes, socks, whole outfit at the fucking door. And I used to be like, why do you do this? Why do you just take everything off and then walk away? And she's like, I just remember her being like, I don't understand why does it bother you? Just step over it. And it's like, oh my God, I shouldn't have to step over it. 4 people live here. And of course now she's like, I don't know why I did that. She's like, that was a college bad habit that I had. She's like, that would drive me crazy now if anybody did that. And I'm like, right. So I hate having to clean up after people. I don't like when people leave things behind, like your towels, your socks, these dishes. Dishes are kind of a gray area, but
I hate dishes.
I digress.
I hate dishes.
I do
With a
hate dishes, but
passion.
I'm lenient on dishes as long as they're not piling the fuck up.
Oh yeah. Like
If it's at the
I would.
bottom of the thing and the sink is mostly empty, but there's like a couple dishes here, fine. But
I fucking hate
when
dishes.
stuff starts to
I will
stack,
use.
no.
Yeah, I will use paper plates and plastic utensils in a fucking heartbeat. He knows I hate dishes, so
Same, same.
he will wash dishes, which I appreciate. I fucking hate
Or just
dishes,
put
and
that
I don't
motherfucker in
know.
the dishwasher.
We don't have a dishwasher.
Okay, and that's also an issue, and we don't do that either.
We don't
There will be a dishwasher. Or there's a dishwasher or there's a dishwasher because
literally
I hate
right.
washing dishes. Yeah.
I hate washing dishes. I really do with a
So
passion.
I
The thing
will.
that you know what I can't stand is like, I mean, I'm definitely a product junkie. And
Mm-hmm.
men, they're using fucking like 30-in-1 bath products and shit. So of course, I have my whole spread out there and shit in the shower, and he definitely partakes in some of those things.
Of
So then I'd be
course.
like, right. And so when he went, so he had no idea how much this shit costs. So when he went to
Oh,
go, he went to Ulta to get me some stuff for my birthday, and he was like, I will never use your products again. He's like, I had no idea that shit was that expensive. I'm like, yeah.
right.
And then you're not
Now
even
you
using it
know.
properly, and then you're using too fucking much of it. Oh my god. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you're using too much of it. But no, that doesn't drive
Yeah.
me crazy. But it's like, yeah, now you know.
Now you know. No, that's a good
Now you
one. That's a
know.
good one.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like, I mean, you're doing it, so I think I already said I probably wouldn't do it again. The first time I did it, it was in LA, and it was after it was my boyfriend from college, and we both just tired of having roommates, and it was financial like, oh, well, it makes sense. We're together every day anyway, and I don't know why I thought this guy was super fucking messy. Okay, love you, but and I don't know why I thought us living together was just gonna change who he was, and he was just
Oh
not gonna be this
no.
messy person, and he wasn't gonna sit on the couch and like drink beer and eat pizza with his shirt
Yeah.
off, and like he wasn't gonna literally like throw his shit like on the bathroom floor and then go to work for 12 hours and like come home and still not touch it at all.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to break up with that person, but I did it in the moment. The moment I did it, I didn't mean to do it, but I did it. And then we
Because
ended
you
up
guys
having to.
because of something from you guys living together?
Uh, yeah. I mean, I just realized I wasn't in love with him anymore, so
Okay.
I was like, I have to get out of this, and I didn't know how to And I think one day he just asked me, like, do you want to break up? And I was like, yes. And he was like, wait, really? And I was like, yep, I sure do. And then what was terrible was we had to live together for like 2 months. And I made him like sleep on the couch. And then when we finally were able to move out, we moved onto the same street because our two friends let us each move with them, and they lived on the same street like 4 houses away. So it was still better than living with him, but he was right there. So he would come over here and, and give me shit for breaking up with him, and I like couldn't get away from him. And we were best friends, so we still wanted to see each other, but me seeing him meant more than the opposite. Or him seeing me meant more than me seeing him. And it gave him false hope. That we were gonna, so I don't recommend that.
So that's the shortest amount of time you lived with somebody was a year?
Okay. It was less than a year. It was literally like 8 months. And it was such a cute place. I regret that part. That it was such a cute place. But I couldn't afford it on my own. I wish I had been able to. And then the second time, I had already decided I was going to move back to Vegas, and he was ready to move. And so when we moved into the place at the end of our relationship, it cost the most, but it was just us, finally. And
nice.
I just had to, once I decided I was leaving, we didn't break up just because I was leaving, but I pretty much made him pay the rent the whole time when I was there, because I was just like, I don't see the point in paying. Yeah. And I didn't really want this. This is what you chose for yourself. You knew I'm leaving. Like,
now, okay. So what were the differences living with him by himself versus living with him with roommates? Were there any differences?
There weren't really any differences. Because he was clean. He was a clean partner. Because he would get like me, where it would get messy enough, and you just like, you get like so annoyed that you just clean everything. But I don't know what was different. I guess the biggest difference was that we lived much closer to the park, and he was like a frisbee fanatic. And so it was just a constant going to the park every single day, and he always wanted me to go, and I always had to say no because I didn't want to go.
Well, were you able to get your more space by living with just him, or did he not?
Yeah, I was able to get more space.
Okay.
No, I did get more space only because his work would keep, he would travel a lot, so I would have like days to myself.
Okay.
That was really nice. That was probably the best part. Like we did get space. I mean, I got space. He didn't really get space.
You got a chance to miss him.
Got a chance to miss him, and that's my favorite part. I just rather miss somebody than get sick of them. Yeah,
I think like for us, our schedules are. I mean, he's an entrepreneur, so there are times when he's like, like last night I didn't get to see him before I went to bed and stuff like that. So this morning I woke him up before I went to work. Those little corny ass fucking things, like, oh, I didn't get to see you.
Yeah.
I didn't get to talk to you, blah blah blah. But then there's those times where I'm like, don't even look at me, please. Yeah, so it's not all, some people may think it's all, and good for the people who, I don't know, maybe you're just still in the honeymoon phase or something like that. But I had never lived by myself before. So once I did, it was kind of hard to give that up,
Yes.
And he had never lived with somebody before. So I know it was hard for him to give that up, It's definitely a compromise. And so I think that's why you have to have like absolute, communication about like, hey, this is not personal. I've had a long day. I just want to unwind a little bit. It's nothing against you. I love you. I just need a moment. Just need a moment. But you got to be able to express that,
Yes.
And you got to be able to accept that. Sometimes everybody doesn't want to, just somebody doesn't always want to be like all around you all the time. Yeah, and it's
Yes,
not
that
even. It
part.
doesn't have to necessarily do anything with you, But hmm,
Yes, and I think that's a big thing. Is to don't take anything personally when you live with somebody. Try to maintain space, maintain your own activities and things that you were doing before they moved in. Obviously invite them along if you want to, but keep your things to yourself for yourself,
absolutely. Keep your
and
individuality.
keep your individuality. Keep your friends. They don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to always be at your place, but always have friends to.
Boundaries. Some fucking boundaries,
Well,
people.
exactly. There you go. Like, yeah.
And
And
discuss finances before you move in with somebody. Are we doing 50-50?
yeah,
Are you going to pay the rent and I'm going to pay utilities? Like, what are we doing here? Because I don't think it's going to
very
change.
true.
You know, you want it a different way and you don't speak up and you get your ass
Yeah,
bamboozled.
and things can happen. Like there was a point in time in New York where I didn't have a job, and he was getting unemployment, but it wasn't what he was making before. So our
It
life
never is.
was a little
Yeah.
different, and I got to pay a little bit more over here, and you have to pay a little
Right.
less, which is cool. Compromising is necessary, but yeah, that's a good one. Definitely talk about that stuff before, if you
Yeah.
guys are if you guys are in sync with that idea of finances. Because if you're not, then you should just stay where you
Okay,
are.
I have a question for you. So since you guys lived with people, and then his friends were always over and stuff like that, it was like kind of a package deal. Did they ever bring over people or like do their dirt at your place and you were not comfortable with that?
Mm, no, no. Unless it was a party. Um, no. I remember. Yeah, no, that never happened while I was cohabitating. That happened in high school with somebody I was seeing, and like I don't know why I had an issue with it. There was something about it that just sat wrong with me. It felt like we were like the person I was with was being used, and I didn't like that.
No, yeah, absolutely. And then they're using your place to fucking do their dirt. Oh, I've been in
Yeah,
that situation, not as a cohabitator, but I've been in that situation. And you're like, what the fuck, bro? Don't be, because they're dragging you into their dirt.
yeah, and it's more just like I don't know. I just found that disrespectful to me. I'm
It
like, this
is.
isn't your house, and I know
Right.
we're all friends and it's cool, but this is like where we do our thing. This is like our
Right.
our our
Sacred
area,
place.
and
Yeah.
yeah, this is our sacred place, and you come in and just kind of, you're just fucking people, randoms, and cheating and just being dirty and
Yeah.
shit. Like that just takes away from. It just makes it all seem like it's trivial, like it's a brothel or something, and I wasn't sleeping with multiple people in high school at all. So to me, I don't know, that just rubbed me wrong. So
Hmm.
I had to say something about it. And boys, of course, they never get it. They're like, whatever, like, what's the big deal? It's like, you think that girl really feels good about like being in your friend's house in some random bed that she's never seen that doesn't have sheets on it, and like, while we're downstairs like making macaroni and cheese? Like, I don't know. To me, I mean, that just doesn't seem super romantic. I mean, I would be like, damn, put some sheets on the bed, like light a candle or something. But I guess that's
Yeah.
what high school's for.
I will say too, like one plus for me is we will host like his family like quite a little bit, like to come over and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
like his sister was just in town and she was leaving. So I was like, oh well, have everybody come over here so we can all hang out before she leaves and da da da.
Oh
So it's
wow, we
like
didn't even
family
talk
night,
about
and
that. Yeah.
I really like that. I like that aspect a whole lot.
Yes, I do like that aspect, but then there's the opposite, the flip side of that, where people's family feel like they can just come over when the fuck ever, and I did not like that. Don't just
Well,
pop over here.
yeah. Well, they have like emergency keys. And so like when my parents come here, they
That's
have the same.
cool.
But
Yeah,
we definitely communicate. Like, hey,
that's
I'm
what I'm saying.
cool,
Yeah,
this and that. Yeah, yeah. No, we definitely communicate. And then we have a ring camera too. So if everybody's ever at the door, I can just check on it and like speak to them through the thing, like if I'm not here or something like that.
yeah. Yeah,
because we have the better
that's also a
internet.
don't. Like, don't be just because everybody lives together. Just because we live together doesn't mean the family just has the
No, I
rights.
feel like it's definitely respect.
You don't pay no
I
bills in
felt
this motherfucker.
right. I think maybe it wasn't a thing before I moved in here. But now that I'm here, you know, and I had to just kind of let that be known. But I might be
Boundaries.
walking around. Well, I might be more. The most important thing was I might be walking around like not, you know, naked or in a
That's what I'm
towel or something
saying.
like
That's the
that.
point.
Yeah. So
That's the
yeah.
point.
Other than that, come over here
Call
to
before you
like
come over
my.
here. Don't just you're in the neighborhood. That's what used to happen with this
No,
guy's
they no
parents
no
in New
no. They
York
don't
was
do
he would
that.
just they were in
No, they don't do that.
they lived in the same vicinity. So it's like, oh, we're out walking the dog, we're stopping by. The fuck?
Yeah, no, they don't do that at all.
No.
No, because I don't mind them coming over at all, but it's just more so make sure I'm decent. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to scar anybody.
Well, regardless, I mean, look, it's not nothing nobody's ever seen, but that's not the point. The point is,
right.
when someone's at home, they more than likely are interested in having the doors and the windows closed, so they probably don't want you to just barge yourself in unannounced. Unannounced
Well,
is the
you know,
word that you're talking about.
yeah, pop-ups. That's a big thing. Like up where my dad's from, they all pop up on each other like all the time.
I understand,
All
and
the
it's
time.
culturally, it's different. Like I said, in New York
Yeah.
City, it's a walking city. You just happen to walk by your friend's apartment, so you knock on the door. I get it, but don't do that. Like you're saying, in the southern, you know, kind of culture is like rap tap tap on somebody's door. How you doing? Just talk to them from the street on the porch, whatever. But not at my home.
We're city girls in that aspect. So
Yeah. Not at my home. So
yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I feel like it's a pretty standard topic, but I don't feel like people talk about it enough. So I'm glad we were able to
Yeah. And if
kind of
anybody's got
tease
any
it out.
cohabitation stories from hell, please let us know.
Yeah, send it. I'll leave it on the note of, you know, at the end of cohabitation, sometimes there are hurt feelings, and sometimes you can get caught up in those hurt feelings and feel the need to
retaliate,
create some degradation and some
degradation. Come on,
retaliation or whatever. And listen, I've done it. Okay, you know, I got pissed and I trashed his apartment. And look, do I regret it? No, I don't, because somebody like me would never do something like that unless I was pushed to, or because I would never do something like that just to do it. I don't usually get my feelings hurt like that. I don't usually give a fuck. But you play me,
listen.
and you know,
Play
now
stupid
I know
games, you
that
win stupid prizes.
there you go. And I'm not condoning this. I'm just saying, if you feel that, take yourself somewhere else and don't do it. But if you do it, tell us about it. I'd love to hear it. And yeah, send your stories, DM me if we need to have a part 2 about y'all's terrible cohabitating tales. Send them to me. I love it. And where can they find you, babe?
You can find me on Instagram at Vic_Pistol. I may respond, I may not. You know, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
It's not personal, trust me.
It's not personal.
It's not personal. I suck at social media just like I suck at a lot of other things, like Christmas.
It's just technology hurt. It hurts. It hurts. Yes, and at Crystal with a K. Next time I'm gonna put that on the scroll. And at Lifestyles of Love _. And like I said, you can stream us from anywhere, from all 4 corners of the universe. And just Google us. We'll be there. And we love you guys. We thank you. Happy Martin Luther the King Day.
Yes.
Happy
I gotta find
Day.
a Martin Luther King shirt. I have to work that day, so I want a shirt and I want to wear it to work that day.
Yeah, I need to find one too. Yeah, because I have to go to work. Yes, happy MLK Day. Get ready for Black History Month because it's gonna be lit.
Yeah.
And That's all we got.
Thank you guys for listening. As always, we'll be back next week.
We don't know with what. Surprises.
Nope. Well, we'll be back. Surprise, motherfucker.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye. Oh yeah, sorry in the beginning I didn't I like
We're still
removed us
live.
both. Oh. I literally hit it.